Hello, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you very, very much. I'm very excited to be here. Um, we are gonna get right into it once the first person piles in here. But this is gonna be extremely beneficial. At the very least, I'm gonna help you reduce your anxiety with some of the things that I say today. As long as you can keep an open mind and really try to understand the kinds of things that I'm telling you, even if you think that you've heard of these things before. If you've practiced breathing exercises before, pretend this is a brand new one, because most likely it is. And if someone's told you that you can't cure anxiety and you choose to believe it, then they are right. But if you think that there's a chance that there's somebody somewhere out there that can help you, then why not let that person be me today? Because I can help. I've helped a lot of people. And ultimately, I'm going to show you exactly how you're going to be able to help yourselves. So, where to begin? We got me as the watcher here. And what I'm going to do is, if you guys can hear me, just say hello and let me know. Romaine, you're getting your fix today. I tell you what. How are you? Thanks for joining me. I'm going over to that post and inviting everybody else. So if you guys can hear me, let me know that you can hear me. There's 39 comments here. So we'll just go live now in the group. Hey, Krista, how are you? Do you have a birthday coming up? I think I saw that in a post. This is going to be good. It's gonna be good. Let the healing commence. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes, 40 tomorrow. Congratulations. 40 is the new 30. Buckeyes in the house. You little stinker. Let's see. This should be good. Let's get rolling here. So, let's get over the hurdles right off the bat. The hurdles right now, there's self-talk. Oh, good. People are piling in. Come on in, and you can hear me loud and clear. Say hello when you pop in. Let me know that you're here. Feel free to ask me anything. There's definitely going to be some a good layer of groundwork that we are going to talk about before we just start dumping information on you. But no, not two of you. A couple of things, guys. I look at life like this, and you can choose to, you don't have to. I'm not trying to change all of your views, but I just want you to be open-minded to some of mine. If a goldfish can teach me how to swim, then that's all the expertise that I need. You know, if you have to be able to take advice. You have to be able to listen to advice wherever it comes from. It might not be the best advice. It might not be advice for you, but you have to at least be able to say, okay, let me think. Does this make sense for me? If a goldfish comes over and says, hey, I could teach you to swim, it's like, well, I'm going to go with this swimming instructor instead of you. It's like, well, let me see what you got, little goldfish. And that's me. I'm your goldfish. I do not have a PhD. I have my schooling in hard knocks. Yes, I studied psychology in college, but I learned how to do this in the last couple of years when going through pretty significant anxiety. I don't know how to rate it. It felt like someone was shoving their elbow into my sternum and like my diaphragm, and then it would go further and further, and then I would get shaky and I'd hyperventilate and get sweaty. And the biggest thing that annoyed me, the physical thing really sucked, but I really hated not being able to think. It was just clouded thoughts. It was like, or too much. It was either overstimulation, or it was just like, what? There's nothing. Hello, earth to kale up here, and it was nothing the whole time. You're shaking and you're panting and you're worried that you're going to have an anxiety attack. So that was rough for me. But having anxiety attacks, I had 2 of them, and they were really, really, really terrible. And I had to go through a lot more than just the anxiety. I was extremely depressed. And that really helped me turn the corner. It helped me decide that I needed to, do something differently. So let me ask you guys some questions just so I get like a good idea. Do you guys have at least like one word that you would give that to describe like what an anxiety-free life would be like for you? Let me just hear some. And feel free to chime in. You guys know this, the way that Facebook works, the more you chime in, the more people get to see this. The more people get to see this, the more people might get better. And that would be a beautiful thing. That's all I want. I got some words for you. What would an anxiety-free life feel like? An anxiety-free life would feel like calm, would feel like clarity, would feel like decisiveness, right? Freeing, relaxing. Hey, Tammy. You know who needs to be in here? Yasmin. I'm going to message her. Freeing, relaxing. Because anxiety is very controlling, is it not? It seems to weed its way into every little aspect of our lives. Am I right? Maybe you're anxious in one or two things, but then all of a sudden, before you know it, it's creeping up on you in the least expected places. It would be amazing. I like that. So what we want to do is put more attention on what it would feel like to not be anxious throughout the day than to put attention on what it does feel like being anxious. Hey, Mary! It's taken over your life. It has taken over your life. Yes, it has. Enough is enough. So before I even jump into anything, listen, you cannot fight anxiety. You don't fight hate. You don't fight war with war. You have to learn how to calm anxiety. You fight it with calmness. I try to fight anxiety a lot. I don't know if I rub you guys this way, but I was very type A and gotta do things this way and gotta be, very, very rough and I fought anxiety hard. And fighting anxiety is like fighting a beehive with a stick. It is not a good idea because the more you pay attention to it, the worse it gets. Anybody feel like that? The more you pay attention to it, the worse it gets. Great, Mary. Feeling good. You have no idea how happy that makes me. Maybe you do. Yes, Tammy, you know what I'm talking about. So it makes sense, right? So let's say this. If we know that fighting anxiety is like fighting a beehive with a stick, that the more you pay attention to it, the worse it gets. Perhaps paying attention to it is something that we should not do. Determined to win. This is pinned. So wow, this positive framework, positive mentality. So here's the thing, guys. Let's just believe that I have an answer for you right here, and I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you this answer, and it's going to make everything better, and it might make things better. You don't have to be like, oh, what if I get my hopes up? Get them up. And if I let you down, don't get down. Just say, okay, that wasn't it yet. I still have more. I promise you I'm going to teach you something. I promise you that you're going to learn something about yourself and about anxiety. I could talk for 12 hours. If I have to do it, I will. Sometimes I won't even be thinking about it, and it hits me out of the blue. Have you ever heard of muscle memory? You guys heard of muscle memory? You guys ever hear of, or you guys ever react to anything? You know, somebody cuts you off on the highway or somebody says something to you and you're just, boom, right in reaction mode. You're right there and your emotions get the better of you, right? Or how about this? When you're brushing your teeth, how often do you actually think about brushing your teeth? You know, you just brush your teeth. It's just a thing that you're very, very used to doing. So Tammy brings up a really good point. Sometimes you're not even thinking about it, and then it comes out of nowhere. And the reason for that is because anxiety is a natural thing in the body that gets way out of hand. And the more we focus on it and the more we use it accidentally, the more it makes itself purposeful. And I will explain deeply about that. But you guys, send me a yes if you can just, even if it's just this faint little idea, you can envision yourself free from anxiety or at least significantly less anxious in your day-to-day. Can you envision that? Maybe it was a part of your past. Maybe you can see yourself in the future just being a little calmer, a little clearer, a little bit more decisive, a little bit more relaxed. Yes, Laura says yes. Hi, Laura. Thanks for coming. Yes, 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 yes. Good. That is a beautiful, beautiful thought. Yes, yes, yes. Then you're in the right place. You're in the right place because you're in the group that's trying to find a cure, right? Yes, looking at old pics, I see myself that way. That's good. That's good. So we're going to help you guys tap in to that. That's the true you. The true you isn't the one that has been through the trauma. The true you isn't the one that has been anxious for 30 or 40 years. The true you is the one that you want to be. And you're getting there. Every day we're trying to get there. We're trying to get there. We're getting there closer and closer. Hey, Yasmin, glad you made it. We're trying to get there. And that's good. I'm tired of not being able to drive on the freeway. So Tiffany, we're gonna talk about some practices for sure. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep a note of, Yasmin said, how do you beat panic attacks in my group earlier? And I told her that I'd save it here. And Tiffany, I'm going to talk about freeway and helps knowing that what causes your anxiety. Different for everyone, Laura says. So we'll definitely talk about cause. We will. And what we're going to do so I see some new people that maybe haven't seen me before. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my past, if that's okay. Just so you know that I've been there and that I've been through it, because I'm just some regular guy, and if I can do it, you can do it too. It takes a lot of work, a lot of good work. And this kind of work is actually a lot about doing less than it is about doing more in your life. And trust me, it totally is. Because right now you're working hard and you don't realize it. And Tiffany, we're gonna talk about framing too. The way that you frame things is very, very important. See, people, I was huge into like motivational speakers and stuff like that in my high level sales career and all that kind of stuff. I was very big into like, I'm sick of this. And sometimes that can be a real push. But with anxiety and depression, things like that, we want to start framing things in a positive way. So I want you guys to think about what Tiffany said here, which is a very good point to make. I'm tired of not being able to drive on the freeway. I'm tired of anxiety. I'm tired of having anxiety. From now on, say, I love being calm. It means the same thing, but what you're internalizing is so, so important. And internalizing in a way that like says, I love being calm, trains your mind. It trains your attention and intention completely differently than saying something like, I'm so sick of this, because your brain doesn't know the difference. And we're going to get to that. So could you guys just give me like a heart, a love, if it's okay that I can tell you about my past and just kind of catch you up to what I've done and where I'm at kind of right now. And if not, just say like, please no. Yes, look, you said it right now. Beautiful. I love being calm. That's the new pin. Thank you for the heart. I don't want to set anybody off or anything like that, you know? All right. Looks like we're good. Just got to get my vodka going before I'm just kidding. Water. I'm actually not drinking in 2018. It's not going to be very hard, though. I don't drink a whole lot. Not anymore, anyway. Not back in my Penn State days. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you guys about, today, it's all beautiful and it's all good. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Every single thing that happened to me was the right thing that happened to me. I love every second of my life. I would not take I see your heart, Mary. I wouldn't take a single thing back. And that's not just because I have 2 kids, and it's not just because I've been able to help hundreds of people with problems that I had to go through. It's because I have this level of acceptance now in my life, and I love every horrible and wonderful thing that has happened to me. I love the ability to experience. Life is always going to have its ups and downs. Days are going to be good and bad, but if we can learn to love every day and just be grateful for the life that we have, it really changes things. It changes perspective, and it changes the way that we see the world. So No saying, oh, I'm so sorry to Kale. I don't want your pity, because when you have pity, you're inviting a level of negativity and sorrow into your heart. And I don't want you to do that. I only want you to invite love. So I want you to give my mom a high five when after I tell you this story. Don't worry, she's not on Facebook. But when I was about 1.5 years, those are some of my first memories. And of course, they were very, very traumatic. They were very abusive. My mother was very controlling and very angry, and she was extremely abusive. So no saying sorry or anything like that. It's a good thing. And listen, guys, if this didn't happen, then I wouldn't be here right now with you in this very moment, about to tell you some stories and give you a different perspective and give you some good practices and good habits that are going to help you treat yourselves better and treat yourselves for anxiety. And some of you might even go on to completely curing yourselves with just the things that I'm saying today. So it's a beautiful, beautiful, good thing. Okay? You guys are with me. So, abuse, lots of physical abuse, mental abuse. My mom was maniacal. She was very, very smart. She dug into me as much as she possibly could. And I was the oldest. For 4 years, I was the only child, and I'm the oldest of 5. And I took this stuff until I was about 16 or 17, because until I was 16, because I was small. I was a late bloomer. I had ADHD, depression, anxiety, insomnia, later on PTSD from the childhood and all that kind of stuff. I could get into it more. It was bad. Let's just put it that way. It's very, very rough, but it was beautiful, and it was right, and it all comes full circle. Life always does. It always does. So I go to, high school, I go to college, and I'm that like funny guy that's laughing on the outside and crying on the inside, and it finally hits me that I'm depressed. And I was always a little anxious. I never really realized that especially with ADHD, how much I was fueling it at the same time. But I never really realized that I was anxious until my sales career started to really take off, and I had a lot of different things to worry about. And the downs that I was having with the ups and downs were just really hitting me hard. And it felt like every time I get down, it would take me longer and longer to build myself back up. What was I doing? I'm drinking away my sorrows. I'm smoking away my sorrows, and I'm trying to just come out on top or forget the crappy day that I just had and all that kind of stuff. And I lost a lot of business because I was so anxious. I had to leave business meetings, and I had this gut-wrenching feeling like someone was just shoving their elbow up into my solar plexus. And that's where it would start. And someone said, it comes out of nowhere. Tammy said it comes out of nowhere, and I wasn't even thinking about it. This is a muscle memory. It's something that I was building up. It's this tool, right? And we'll get into that, but it would just happen to me. And before I knew it, I'm hyperventilating, and I have to leave, and I have to walk out, and I'm like, it just made me feel so pathetic. And the thing about anxiety was that it brought out all my demons. It wasn't like I beat depression at one point, but I didn't beat it all the way. I just put a Band-Aid over it. I had no idea. And I beat the insomnia, but I just put a Band-Aid over it, because once anxiety kicked in, insomnia went right back up. And I beat the PTSD, but once the anxiety and insomnia kicked in, I was waking up shaking. I'd have moments where I would just freak out, and I was like, where is this all coming from? But it was anxiety. It was the tool. It was this catalyst that was making things so much worse. And after my second panic attack, with me and my wife and my son in the back seat, we're driving down the highway on Thanksgiving. Of all days to be on the highway, I have this anxiety attack. And I'm hyperventilating, and I cannot breathe. You're trying to breathe in air, and it feels like just nothing is getting in, and your heart's racing. And I was like, why is this happening to me right now? This is the worst time this could possibly happen. And I remember my vision got so tunnel vision, it was like I was looking through 2 little beads, like just teeny little dots. And I was like, please just let me get to the side of the road. Let me get to the side of the road. And luckily I did. Oh my gosh, so lucky that I got to the side of the road. But after that, I really started to crack down and figure out what the heck was wrong with me, what was wrong with my world, what could I change, what couldn't I change, how could I change in order to get rid of anxiety. And I put myself to work. I spent 40 grand about. I read 30 books. I took courses. I studied. My psych minor kind of came into play, but so much more came into play, history, philosophy, spiritualities and religions and different forms of meditation. And I was like, wherever I can get advice, I'm going to get advice from it. And I'm going to pull it together and figure out a system that will work. And so far, it has worked for hundreds of people. And I'm very, very happy to say that. And it hasn't worked for some people. And I'll tell you, the only reason why this stuff doesn't work for people is because they're not willing to do the right thing, to do the right work. And the right work has so much to do with reframing your thoughts and reframing the type of person that you might be right now, some of the habits that you have. But give me like a heck yes or an oh yeah if it doesn't matter. You know, you can keep your religious beliefs and you can keep your family and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't matter what you'd have to change about yourself if it meant that you were free from anxiety or at least significantly less anxious. Give me a yes, a heck yes, a oh yeah, Kool-Aid man, whatever you want to do. Let me know that you guys are just, you just want it gone. There it is. Mary says, you have to really want it. She's right. Mary knows. Mary knows. Heck yes. Heck yes. Look at that. Yes. You do. Heck yeah, gone. Yesterday. I love it. I love it. So guys, I want you to remember this feeling. Heck to the yes, Megan says. Hi, Megan. I want you guys to remember this feeling. The next time something comes up that conflicts with what Kale tells you to do, and you say, well, I mean, but I like doing this. I want to do this. And of course, Mary says yes. You know, I'm going to give you a really ridiculous example just to be funny right now. Any kind of stimulant is going to be harder on your anxiety, right? So if you just love cocaine and I go, don't do cocaine, what you need to do is not like cocaine more than you'd like to be happy and free from anxiety. You have to have that mindset, is that being free from anxiety is your number one priority. So, you know, when a plane is experiencing some turbulence, they say that you need to breathe from the oxygen mask before you give it to your child or somebody else next to you. So you guys have to have this level of selfishness that is going to serve you. It's you're inhaling oxygen. You are doing something good for yourself first before anything else. If your friends want to go out and do cocaine, you're not doing it anymore because it's going to make you anxious. And like I said, that was just a silly example, but we're going to get into the real stuff, Amy says, hi, Amy, says, I have severe anxiety and depression. How do I fix this? You've come to the right place, and we're just about to dive into it. Amy, do you, no, you first. Do you want to be cured or significantly relieved of your anxiety and depression more than anything else in your life? Because give me a yes and let me know. Because if you want it more than anything, you can get there. You just have to remember that you want it more than anything. And I'm going to give you the tools that work for so many people. I promise you that. This isn't something where I just talk about myself. In fact, I'm done talking about myself. You're coming in right when we're going to get into the good stuff. Hi, Sheila. Let's do this, right? Amy, you still there? Let's get that yes from you. I need to hear it with all those caps. You don't want any of it at all. Good. I know you don't. But that doesn't answer my question, you silly person. You want it gone more than anything else. More than anything else. Because what's going to happen here is, as I'm going to teach you guys this stuff, you're going to understand that people have a way of justifying things. Yes, I see you. It's a couple seconds delay. I'm sorry. People have this way of justifying their problems instead of learning how to wield them and lose them and let them go. And it's a very natural human instinct to hang on to certain things. And I'm going to tell you exactly why it is. And Amy, just so you know, I had pretty bad anxiety. I had 2 very bad, very, very bad panic attacks. And I was depressed on and off for a very, very long time. It was so bad that I cry and cannot stop. So here's what I want you to do. Amy, I see you. And we're going to get to your points. I promise you that. What I want you guys not to do here, if you have significant, not significant, this is all significant. If you have specific questions, ask. I'm an open book. But let's not make this a venting rant, because the more negativity that we speak and the more that we talk about, the more that we're feeding our minds. And I'm going to tell you exactly why that is. I promise you. It's not good for you. I'm going to tell you why. But I have to start at the beginning. You know, I can't Tarantino you guys The Cure. We got to start at the beginning, and you have to have an understanding of where all of this comes from so that you can start to see yourself in a different way. If you learn to see this and yourself from a slightly different perspective, I'm talking this kind of a shift, just that much of a shift, that's how you learn how to start treating yourself the right way, better, for the better, calmer, more confidently. All that stuff will come. So here's where we're going to start, the beginning of time. I'm kind of serious about this. So we're human. We are biological. You would, Krista. Look, we're learning already. You're darn right you would. You guys would be less anxious if you stopped checking your heart rate all the time. You'd be less anxious if you stopped talking about anxiety all the time. You'd be less anxious if you stopped playing on your phone so much. You'd be less anxious if you didn't drink as much coffee. You'd be less anxious if you got more comfortable sleep. You'd be less anxious if you loosened your grip on life. But I'm going to give you those reasons after I help you understand much, much more about yourselves and anxiety. So we're human. We're these animals, right? And in the wild, when you go back to before there were houses, before there were cars, what did we have? We had this. We have tiny teeth. We're not very strong. Pound for pound compared to other animals, we are not strong at all. A chimpanzee can toss us and we might be twice their weight. We don't really have thick skin. We don't have super hard bones, but we have this amazing, amazing tool. It's a beautiful, amazing tool, but it's not perfect. Nothing is perfect, right? Because everything is progressing. And if things were progressing, then nothing could be perfect. It can be a level of acceptance, right? I see I'm losing people already, and that's stinky because this is so important. So ancient man has this system, this brain in place, and this beautiful brain, what it is designed to do is to look for them. Then put it down, Tammy. Take it off. Take it off. Why carry your enemy with you unless you love it? So when ancient man looks out into the world, his brain needs to do one thing. Think about what's like the most important thing to ancient man to get us here today: survival. And what's going to allow these weak little creatures to survive? This brain that can make sure that it can keep us away from danger and help us progress into the future. So there's two things: survival and progression. And how do you get those two things? Through a radar system that can detect anything negative, that can have the ability to see things into the future. Hey, if I do this, this is going to happen, which is going to happen to that. And see things in the past. Oh, I remember there's a tiger back there, so I'm not going to go back there. So that's the way our brain was originally designed, and you can see how that's still valid today without the tiger. The brain was designed to look for negativity. If somebody ate something and got sick, we were supposed to notice it. And we weren't only supposed to notice it, but we were supposed to tell other people about it, which is venting, which is complaining. And then our brain rewards us and gives us a little treat. It says, nice job. That's part of a survival mechanism. Complaining, venting is part of a survival mechanism. But I'll tell you what, it does not help you at all because we don't need to survive right now. Is anybody worried about their survival from tigers or bears or anything else in the food chain? Just say yes if you are, and we'll take a sidetrack and talk about that lifestyle that you're in. But right now, this is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. It's the safest time to be a human ever in human history, the world that we live in today. Does that surprise anybody? Do you know that it's the most depressed time, the most anxious time to be a human as well? And you got to wonder why that is, right? Tiffany says, no, it makes sense, right? We got this amazing technology and our healthcare is insane. The kinds of things that the surgeries that they can do, these, brain surgeries and open heart surgeries and all that kind of stuff. When I said, ladies and gentlemen, I realized that there was a guy live now. There's a few guys that should be in here. So the brain is wired to look for things, anything negative, anything in the village, tiger tracks. Now today, bad weather, that person that made you feel terrible. Hi, Sarah, welcome. I'm sorry you're anxious constantly. I'm going to help you deal with that. If you have any specific questions, leave them. But let's not vent. I feel all of your pain. Trust me, I do. I understand it. And I'm here to help. That's the only reason why I'm here. I'm going to give you guys some great advice that you can act on right away. We're going to act on some of it during this live, and it's going to help calm you guys down. I promise you that. Okay. Oops, I wrote love now. He'll figure it out. So, see, I pinned Tiffany's comment. I love being calm. This is the way that we want to frame everything. I understand that you hate being anxious. Don't say I hate being anxious. Say I love being calm, because we want to focus our attention and intention on the right thing, not on the wrong thing. And I'm going to get to that. So ancient man has this ability to notice all these little negative details, and that's how ancient man got to survive. We pulled ourselves forward through time, through making sure that we avoided the crazy and the negative and the danger. So our brain is wired to look for negative things. How many of you guys go to sleep at night and say, wow, today 14 good things happened to me? Or how many of you guys actually say today, 5 bad things happened to me? Why did this happen to me? Our brains are wired to look for negative things. We can be on the beach with perfect weather and still have a bad time. And the reason for that is because our brains are wired to look for negative things. So what does KO-CAP teach? KO-CAP teaches how to rewire your brain for 2018, how to rewire your brain for a time when there's not tigers, how to rewire your brain to let go of anxiety. Lisa says, anxious for nothing, and don't feel like feeding chickens or cleaning right now. It takes away your whole life. It can be completely debilitating, and we're gonna get you back there feeding those chickens. Anxious for nothing. You're darn right. We're all anxious for nothing. We are all anxious for nothing. Maybe it started with something. Maybe it started with trauma. Maybe it started with something really crazy that happened to you, but now we're anxious for nothing. We're anxious about being anxious. We're anxious about worrying about being afraid. We are anxious about silly things like going on a date or having a phone call or going to a job interview. We're anxious about things that we're fully capable of, like driving on the freeway. Just to put this out there to you, and I know this may sound weird, but 2 ways I have calmed down is 1, I take 2 different vitamins, and 2, I can't leave my dog if I go to certain places. Okay. I'm going to talk. I'm glad you said that. It's a beautiful thing. So your dog and vitamins, we're definitely going to talk about like some best practices, some vitamins, some simple things that all of you guys can act on that are very important. And Mary is saying that she stays away from triggers like news TV. News is just negative, and people are like, oh, it's a conspiracy. It's like, no, it's not a conspiracy. It's people. People look for negative things. So people own news stations, and they say, this is good, and people watch the news because it's good. If the news was like, and look at this tree growing so slowly and beautifully. This tree is 130 years old. We'd be like, where's the drama? Where's Jersey Shore? Here's a good list of vitamins, and I want to hear Amy's vitamins too. Magnesium, vitamin D, really, really, really important. So that goes with sunlight as well. If you can get 5 or 10 minutes of sunlight every day. B12, I said magnesium, calcium. What else you guys got? These vitamins are fantastic. But I'll tell you what, the only tool that you guys have at the end of the day is this brain. You can have your friends, you can have your therapy dogs, you can have your medication, you can have foods, you can have comfort, you can have crutches. But you can't always have them. You can't always rely on them. But the one thing that you will always, always have is this brain right here until you don't. And then you won't be anything anymore. So what I want to do is help you guys use this tool for good. Right now, unfortunately, it's been being used for negative. It's being used for bad. It's being used to pull you down and feel more anxious. And we're going to help you rewire that. Complex B, L-theanine or theanine, I forget how that goes. There's 5-HTP before bed that works really well. Oh, here's some good stuff too. Lavender tea is very calming, very soothing. Chamomile tea can have a good effect as well. And melatonin at night is also pretty good for you. And just eating right and taking care of yourself is so important. If you don't sleep enough, it's going to be very, very difficult to help you cure yourself. You need to have as much brain power and energy as you possibly can so that you can use it in the right direction. Right now, you're using it to focus on anxiety. I'm going to show you how to use it to focus on calmness and clarity. So you guys, if you are with me so far on Ancient Man looking at the negativity, just give me a yes. Let me know that you're still with me on this. We're wired for negativity. You're not a bad person. You're not a negative person, but you are automatically wired to look for negative things. That's why when you go to bed at night, you're not going, wow, 14 amazing things happened to me today. Thanks, Tammy. Yes. Sarah, thank you. So it helps to understand where this comes from. So ancient man is in the wild, but I take medicine that I want to get off of. I have been slowly. That's beautiful. I will not tell you to get off your meds. I won't. You be responsible. You're the best person. You're the best judge of anybody. You better than anybody. So, but that's a good thing you're trying to get off because it's not good for your liver. But don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything irresponsible. You can cure this thing. You can fix your brain for calmness and clarity, and then decide to stop taking your meds. But that's up to you when you do that. I'm not giving you medical advice, but I don't consider anxiety and depression something that you need to have a PhD to tell about. I think that considering that I don't have it anymore and that I've helped hundreds of people get rid of it, I'm just giving you advice. Like how to change a tire or how to blow a bubble with bubble gum. That's it. Hey, Alma, welcome. Glad you're here. We're just diving in. So there's another story about ancient man you guys have to know about so that you know exactly what anxiety is and where it comes from. You guys all have heard of fight or flight, right? So it has a lot to do with that. Now, you have to understand what I'm talking about with conscious and subconscious here. So when ancient man is I'm telling you, I'm getting there. If I tell you exactly what to do, you're going to say, that's too easy, that's ridiculous, and you're going to leave. But if I give you the basis and the understanding and I build the foundation for you and then tell you what to do, then it's going to stick. Then you're going to believe a little bit more. And if you believe that you can cure yourself, you can. I'm going to tell you guys about the placebo effects in ways you've probably never heard of before and how powerful the human mind is. Ancient man walking through the jungle, sees a tiger, instantly heart races, the subconscious mind passes breathing off to the conscious mind, and he runs. Subconscious mind says, I'm going to give your body adrenaline, you're going to be agile, you're going to be able to juke in and out of trees, and you might survive, so go. The conscious mind says, I'm going to try to think my way out of this, and I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to pay attention to my breathing, because when you run, you pay attention to your breathing. It's deep and big breaths. You do it because it's very efficient if you're paying attention to your breathing as a runner. And it also takes your mind off of how long you've run and all that kind of stuff. But that's an important factor because when I used to get extremely anxious, I was breathing like a puppy, and you're just this teeny tiny little breath. And you're not getting any oxygen there. And then you start getting flush and you start getting lightheaded. And then you go into meltdown mode. And when you're in that mode, it doesn't matter how much you're breathing. It's like you just have to ride out the storm. But I'm going to teach you how to get to a place where you can pull yourself back from that storm as well through lots and lots of practice. Everything that I'm going to tell you today is going to be very easy to comprehend, but it's not going to be very, very easy to do. So it's easy to understand, but it's going to take work. It's going to take effort, as Mary was saying earlier. But it's so worth it. Oh, picture that calm clarity, that easy-going life. That lifestyle where you just do the things that you know you can do without something weird telling you that you can't do it out of nowhere. It's like, it's just going to be good and calm. So, Evelina, how to overcome lack of perseverance. I do meditation or exercise for 2 days, then I give up. I feel so exhausted. Gosh, you should have just been on my last live on my wall. We're talking about, and yesterday was confidence. Today was debilitating patterns in your life. Feel so exhausted. This makes me angry. I have severe anxiety and daily panic attacks 2 a day. 2 a day? Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I try so hard to overcome this, but I can't. I also have depression. They go hand in hand. If you are just anxious and you're not depressed at all, it's quite an anomaly. I would imagine that there's a little bit of depression trying to linger and work its way in there because anger or depression and anxiety go very well hand in hand. They marry very well together, like a stew or something. I don't know, but they do. But treating anxiety has a lot to do with treating depression as well. So we're going to get to that. Very tired and exhausted. I feel I can't do an effort for a long time. And without efforts, I can heal. Evelina, tell me, how long are you going to be on this live this time? How long are you going to be? Are you going to be on the whole time? Because I'm going to get to the questions at the end. I think last time you might have had to go. Oh, so Sarah says depression most of her life, but the anxiety just came last year. Yes, you are. Okay, Evelina, then I promise that I will answer your question fully. So what I'm going to do is just write Evelina on my card, and I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to tell you all the different points that you need to know for your specific question, okay? I have to lay down some more ground before I can get to you guys at the level that you're going to understand. I also have at least 5 to 6 panic attacks a night. I'm so sorry, Amy. Now hear me, guys. Hear me out. If you guys have specific questions, ask them. Ask your specific questions, and I promise to answer them. But do yourself a favor and do me a favor as well. And you're very welcome, Evelina. And don't make this a venting session. You guys probably see therapists. You probably have friends that you do venting to. I believe that venting is bad for you. And I'm actually gonna get to that point right now, and I'm gonna tell you why I believe that it's bad for you. But I'm gonna tell you that I'll tell you why it's bad for you. That's good. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the slightest little. I mean, anxiety and depression are these kind of like natural human instincts, right? I was just saying that it's part of our natural wiring. So make sure that I get to venting right next. So ancient man runs away from this tiger. He gets away. And all the adrenaline, all the cortisol, all that stuff that's damaging our organs right now from being anxious is not damaging if you're running from a tiger. It fuels your body, you burn it off, you're good to go. And he's breathing because the subconscious mind says, go ahead and breathe. And the conscious mind says, I'm going to breathe because I'm running. Of course I'm going to breathe while I'm running. But when we get anxious, it's as if there's a tiger in the room that we don't see. So our conscious mind is just going, well, it's a regular day, and then all of a sudden we get this overwhelming feeling like anxiety just creeps up on us. And our subconscious mind is saying, go ahead and breathe. Go ahead and deep breathe. You need to breathe. You're running from a tiger, right? But you're not. And then all those hormones are released in your body, and they feel terrible because you're not in a state of running and a state of athleticism. You're in a state of freeze and stop. And that's why this new term with psychology is the fight, flight, or freeze mode. But nothing freezes naturally except those goofy little goats that you ever see that they poof and they fall over. That's not a human instinct to freeze. We freeze because we would look ridiculous just running through an office when our heart starts racing. We would look absurd if we're driving down the highway and then we just got out and started running around our car 25 times to burn all this energy off. Now, I'm not saying when an anxiety attack strikes you to start burning energy off because you should have been running 5 minutes ago. That's what I'm saying. Your body is telling you to breathe, and before you know it, you're feeling like I'm out of breath. You have this feeling of overwhelm, and it's hard to pull that back. So there's 2 natural human instincts I just told you guys about, and that's what it is. So you're wired for negativity. You're wired to look at everything negative, and you're wired to bring it up again and again because ancient man had to say, hey, those berries made us sick, so we're not going to eat those berries. I remember those berries made us sick, and there's a tiger that lives up on that mountain, so we're not going up on that mountain. We're going to stay down here. It's all survival. It's all survival. But if you ever get yourself caught in this thought loop, it's subconscious. It's your conscious mind riding the roller coaster of subconscious. And anxiety has this way of just keeping us in this loop. I'm afraid to be anxious. I might get a panic attack, and then that'll be, embarrassing. And I'm afraid to get embarrassed, and I'll have a panic attack. And it just keeps, and we get stuck in that. So what is venting? What is complaining? And why does it feel like we get things out? When I'm talking right now, guys, I'm feeding my mind. Everything that I speak feeds my mind. Because the mind, there's no delete button up here. There's no erase. There is only absorption. If you can't remember something, that's because you've absorbed so much that it's like back. It's hidden. It's not strong anymore. And the more you absorb, the stuff that you stop thinking about starts to dissipate. Old memories, what you ate for breakfast this morning, all that kind of stuff. Your mind thinks, well, this isn't important, so just like put it away, and we're going to keep focusing on what you think is important. So venting, the only thing that comes out when we vent is sound, is air through our vocal cords. Why do we feel good venting, Kale? Why does it feel good to complain about this stuff, to tell a friend what we're going through? Why does it feel good? Let's go back to ancient man. If you were a caveman and you saw a tiger, what would be the best thing for the villager's survival? To tell everybody, guys, I just experienced this horrible, horrible experience. I saw a tiger up on the mountain. And now the brain goes, good job, and bloop, and filters some little good happy juices up there. But that tiger's very, very real in your head. And the more you talk about the tiger, the more real it becomes. Does that make sense so far to you guys? The more you're going to talk about a tiger, the more you fear the tiger, the more that becomes a very prominent memory in your head. I love that you're happy. Adrenaline bursts feel awful. So I hear you. I hear you. I'm listening to you, but I still feel anxious. Well, I'm gonna do a practice to try to bring us down. I'm coming in with a lot of intensity right now because I'm in teaching mode, but we're gonna do a practice right after I make this point, and we're gonna calm ourselves down a little bit. Alma says, Kale, since this panic attack began, I can't hardly walk a few steps without feeling excessively tired with this shortness of breath. Still do it though. Been doing it for a year, even though the tiredness. But do you think it's related? Oh yeah, yeah. You're saying that since you've had a panic attack, now you like have no energy to do things. Alma, give me like well, yeah. Unless you're about to answer yes, like everybody else is, but let me know. Health anxiety, Sarah. We'll talk about that. So look, guys, I'm not trying to tell you not to go to your therapist. I don't want you to change anything that is a responsible thing that you do in your life. But outside of therapy, I do agree. Okay, so energy and health anxiety. We're going to talk about. Health anxiety is the worst right now because of the way the internet works and how easily we can access the fact that only Dr. House can treat our brain parasite from Guatemala or something like that. So I know what you're talking about. I know what you're dealing with. I had a similar thing where I would get like I feel like I was going to pass out all the time. And I'll tell you how I beat it, which is not the way that I'm going to tell you how to beat it, but I'm going to tell you how to beat it as well. So how can you stop anxiety when you drive? Always scared of wrecking. Jody, I'm getting to specifics at I'm going to say probably about 20 minutes, maybe a half hour. Give me a yes if you're still going to be here, and I promise I'll specifically talk about driving and how it relates. Somebody early on said something that I wanted to talk about that resonated a little bit with me. They said that it's important to know where anxiety comes from. Okay, cool, Jody. I promise that you're on my list. Driving is on my list. It's a very important one. Anxiety is the same tool, different severities for different people, but it is the exact same tool in all of us, biologically speaking, but it comes out in different places for all other people. Where it came from, I disagree. I don't think you have to know where your anxiety comes from. I think, do you know how a car is built? No, but you know how to drive it. Do you know how a bicycle works exactly with the sprockets and the chain and all that kind of stuff? Maybe not, but you know how to ride a bike. If I can teach you how to use this brain, you don't really have to know where it came from, where your anxiety came from. So we're gonna focus on all the specific problems that you guys are dealing with, and if you want to take it a step further and get a coach or something or a therapist that's gonna help you relive those problems, that is your call. But I personally believe that venting makes it worse. It feels good. It feels good to vent because your brain says, good job, you're helping the village survive. But everything that you talk about, everything that you think about is just absorbing more information into your brain. So the more, if I woke up every day, think about this, guys. If I woke up every day and said, I hate my life is the worst life in the world, I'm the most unlucky person, do you guys think that I would be the happiest person? Do you think amazing things would happen to me? Do you think anybody would like me if that's how I was treating myself? I want to tell you guys about a study. There's a study done where they took two groups of people and they split them up by, they gave them tests, answered a bunch of questions, and one group said, I am very unlucky. I feel like I'm cursed. Nothing good ever happens to me. I would never set foot in a casino. I'm terrible, terrible, terrible. And the other group said, I'm lucky. Lots of good things happen to me. I play scratch-offs and I win, and people are always nice to me. They split these two groups up. And they're like, we're going to do a study on you guys. They didn't know that it was a lucky study or anything like that. They're like, we're going to go over here to this building and we're going to do the study over there. And on the way over to the building, they hid money. They hid money all over the place. and this money is hidden on the ground. And the lucky group found the money almost every single time. They're in the middle of talking to this doctor, and then they're like, oh, excuse me, oh, I just found 20 bucks on the ground. Oh, I found $5 on the ground. This is the lucky group. The unlucky group, money's in the exact same spot, same demographic, same age group, same culture, all that kind of stuff. They just felt like they were unlucky. They hardly found any of the money. Most people found none of the money. Do you want to know why that is? Because what you feed your mind, what you're telling yourself actually bends your reality. It changes your perception on things. It changes the way that you see things in your life. You guys know Where's Waldo? You're looking for Waldo and you're scanning the picture trying to find Waldo. You're trying to find Waldo. Then you find Waldo all of a sudden. And when you find Waldo, if I flip that picture over and say, okay, how many people were wearing brown pants? You wouldn't have a clue. You were looking right at them, but you have no clue. Why? Because we go into life with an intention of something. And what is our intention? Whatever we pay attention to consciously becomes our intention subconsciously. Our subconscious mind is like a genie that grants wishes very specifically and doesn't really understand what you want. So you're like telling the genie, you're like, you know, I'd like to be rich. And then the genie goes, poof. And then you become a big chocolate cake because that's rich, the chocolatey flavor. It's rich. That's how the subconscious mind works. So if you go, I hate having anxiety. I hate the fact that I have anxiety. Why can't I be better? I hate anxiety. Your brain is going, anxiety, anxiety, anxiety. Wow, the conscious mind is paying so much attention to this anxiety thing. It must be really important for this anxiety, or it must be really important for his survival. This anxiety thing must be important because whatever we're paying attention to must be very, very important for our survival. If you think about like ancient man, if you're paying attention to something dangerous, there's a tiger over there, there's a tiger over there, the mind is going to say, I'm going to help your eyes see those orange and black stripes. I'm going to help you perceive the world in a way that you will see that tiger and hear that tiger coming. So that's the way our minds work. That's how that study works, and that's how Where's Waldo works, and that's how you and I work right now. So what we feed this mind, what we talk about to our friends, what we say out loud and what we think in our head, the debilitating negative self-talk, it actually changes our reality. It bends reality around us and allows us to see the world through a specific lens, an anxiety-filled lens. Now, right now, you can see 100 things. You can taste your mouth right now, but you don't know that you're tasting your mouth until you start thinking about it. You can feel your pinky toe, but you don't know until you start thinking about it because your subconscious is completely aware. But your conscious mind is only focused on certain things. So if you keep focusing, if I focus on the top of my hand long enough, all of a sudden it becomes kind of itchy, you know? If you focus on your breathing, you might start yawning. What you're focusing on has a significant effect on your internal monologue. It has a significant effect on the way that you're going to see the world. If you're looking for something, you are going to find it, even if it isn't there. If you're looking for something, you are going to find it, even if it isn't there. Okay, let's see. How do I get rid of anxiety and depression without having my dog or B complex or iron pills I am on or going to a counselor? So Amy, I want you to have all those things and keep all those things. I'm not telling you to get rid of anything. But the way that you get rid of anxiety and keep this, it's the same thing I teach people confidence. You want to be a truly confident person, you have to be confident. Everything up here. We have to learn to rewire our brains for calmness, not anxiety. Don't go, I don't want anxiety. Don't say, I hate anxiety. Say, I love being calm. I love easy, breezy days. I love being able to roll with the punches. I love when I'm having a bad day, but I don't let it affect me. I love when people come at me and I'm just able to just roll it off my shoulders. I love calm, clarity, decisiveness. And the more you feed your brain that, it's like you're looking for Waldo. And now your brain starts going, hey, this love thing, this calmness thing, this clarity thing, this is what it needs. We need to look for. So then all of a sudden your random thoughts will start to change to good. Instead of like my thoughts of like Jenny breaking up with me in the 5th grade. I don't get these random nonsense, but it's rewiring. So I was talking about brushing your teeth before. If you don't think about brushing your teeth, it's this automatic thing. It's this speedy highway. It's very, very fast. Anything you do reactionary is very fast. It just comes at you really quick. But if you try to think differently about things, if you try to see the world differently, it's difficult. It takes time. You have to create new neural pathways, but you can. It's 100% scientifically proven that you can learn new things, that you can create new neural pathways, that you can see the world differently. It just takes practice and effort. So that is why I say not to complain, because if you complain, all you're doing is affirming it and speaking it. And let's be honest here, guys. Anxiety is real. It's so real. But do we have to remind ourselves all the time that it's real? Do we have to tell ourselves, look at how real this is. Look at how real the traumas of my past are. No, they happened. You don't have to give them any more attention than you want to. And I'm telling you, the more attention that you give it, the more you're wiring your vision, your hearing, your senses, your dreams, your random thoughts for these specific things. Now, we are just hitting the tip of the iceberg here, folks. I got a lot more, so don't think that it's just that. That is the basis of understanding. And now that you guys are starting to understand and you're still with me, I love it. I love it because that means that you guys are thirsty for change. You're thirsty for that happy, comfortable, calm life. You see this? I don't love anything more than helping people that want to be helped. So I'm seeing some things here. Sarah says, how do you deal with fearing that you are going to have a heart attack at any time? So Sarah, I'll put that on as a caveat to your health anxiety thing. You just stay with me, Sarah girl. I promise you we're going to talk about this thing. This is the only thing I have to do until another 6 hours from now. So I promise you we're going to talk about all of this stuff. Tiffany says, facts. I love it. Heather says, without fear of anxiety, it cannot exist. Absolutely correct. So this is the way that we frame that, right, Heather? With calmness, with gratitude, anxiety doesn't exist. Or how about, I just love to be calm. I love to be grateful. I'm so happy that I'm alive. That kind of thought and mentality will change your brain. Guys, I have been in such crappy places. I grew up completely poor in the projects, physical abuse, getting the crap kicked out of me in school. I went to public school. And I had a teacher beat the crap out of me in 2nd grade, and it took her all year before they caught on to the bruises and got her fired. So many negative things that I could focus on, and I just don't want. Why would I focus on them? There's so much good. My lungs work. I'm alive today. I have a chance to get my life that much better. David Wright, I have had an anxiety panic attack disorder for 20 plus years, have always been able to somewhat deal with it, but these past couple of weeks have been horrible. I can't pull myself out of this hole. I'm losing control of my life, and it's terrifying. David, you're in the right place, brother. You're in the right place, Mr. Wright. I promise you that. There is a reason why you're here right now listening to me. I promise you that. You stick around and you keep your questions specific for me, and I promise at the end of my spiel, I will answer your question. It doesn't matter if you've had anxiety for 50 years, dude. It doesn't matter if you've had it for 60. I've talked to people that have had it for 50 years, and I've helped them. Time is irrelevant. Time is irrelevant. Because now is a new moment. Now is a new moment. Now is a new moment. And when we learn how to live like that, when we wire our brains to live like that, then it doesn't matter what happened last week, last month, last year. It doesn't matter what momentum has built this far. We can get past it. But just know this. If you've had anxiety for 50 years, it might take a while to kick it. It might take a couple of days, couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. But the beautiful thing about this is rewiring your brain is easier than going to the gym and working out. You can get to a place of calmness and clarity much, much quicker if you're diligent, if you care and love yourself enough to change the way that you frame things and change the way that you think about things. So guys, we're on the same page right now. Complaining is bad for you. It's only feeding things. Here's how you're going to remember it. This is one of my favorite analogies in the whole world. Inside of all of us lives 2 wolves. There's a good wolf and there's a bad wolf. And we feed these wolves our thoughts. And at the end of the day, these wolves go to war. Which wolf do you think wins? We're wired for negativity. We're wired for pessimism. We're wired to find all the negative nonsense in our lives. We're wired to find negative even if it isn't there. That bad wolf wins all the time. That's why we feel the way that we feel. Guys, this stuff works for people without anxiety because people without anxiety suffer for no reason as well. And it doesn't matter if you got your anxiety from being raped as a child or you got it because you had a bad year and a sales quarter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter because some people experience things differently. I've helped people that gosh, that have had the worst possible lives. It matters if you're willing to try to change who you are for the better, for that calmness and clarity. It does not matter. Some people stub their toe and it's the end of the world. I got a sister that's a hypochondriac, man. If she stubs her toe, she's going to the ER. She doesn't have a bruise. And then even when the doctor says there is nothing wrong with you, there's not even a red mark, she still complains about her foot for a week. You know? It doesn't matter. It's all relative to the experiencer. It's how they decide to experience things. I'm just a normal guy. And the past is far behind me. It's just a thing that happened. It was a tool to get me to where I am, and I love every second of it. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be here with you guys, and I promise to answer all your questions as I keep explaining these things to you so you can start to see these things in a very clear way. So if anybody chimed in halfway through this, make sure you go back and you pick up the beginning pieces before you know, you're done taking all this stuff in, because it's very, very important. I made Amy laugh when I was howling. Look at that. It's good to laugh. Do you think you could be anxious and be in a good, hearty belly laugh? Heck no. 4 days in a row. 4 days in a row, Mary says. She's got the right attitude for 4 days in a row. You are a trooper, girl. Heather says, I once talked to a psychologist about anxiety, and he told me that as far as the rapid heart rate with anxiety, it's really not much different from someone who runs and gets their heart rate up, just like we were saying, right, with the tiger chasing you. Also, people who have anxiety actually have very strong minds. I love that, because it's friggin' true. To butter people up and to get them to be receptive of me, I love telling truths like that, because if you have anxiety, you must be a pretty intuitive person about things, because anxiety is, you might even be an introvert. Anxiety is a very intelligent mechanism gone completely haywire and being used for all the wrong things, but it is a very, very, I mean, the level of attention that you're giving to something, it's beautiful. If you could give that level of attention to a painting, if you could give that level of attention to learning a new skill, can you guys imagine if you were practicing guitar at that level of intensity instead of being anxious? Holy crap, you know how good you guys would all be rocking out? You'd be amazing. And you can do that. See, that's the beauty of it. You have that intelligence, and when you start taking anxiety and start twisting in the other direction, start changing your perception and start using your brain as a tool for what you want to use it for, then that's what you get to be really, really good at. So I see a lot of people that decide to take their path somewhere else. My path, personally, I want to wake up every day happy to be alive, like a little kid. My 2-year-old, when he bounces off the pillow every morning, he goes, "It's today! I want that." So that's where I put all of my attention and my focus on just being happy. I diligently try to be, excuse me, every single day. I really, really try to be. Evelina says, how can I deal with fear of becoming insane? The fear is extremely strong. Or fear of losing control. You know, we all lose control sometimes. We all lose control sometimes. I'm just going to put, Evelina, I'm going to put fear. Or maybe what you can do, Evelina, for me, is write down all your questions yourself. And then when I get to you, we're going to have like a whole session in this at the end of this video that's going to be all about all these different things. Evelina, you have so many things you want to talk about. That sounds pretty darn intelligent to me, right? As Heather mentioned, there's a fantastic comment by Heather. It's very true. And I like the way psychologists frame these things. Your heart is actually pretty darn strong as well from being anxious, because it's like you're working it all the time. But then at the same time, that adrenaline isn't getting burned because we actually make ourselves think about something and then feel it. I never thought about being afraid until I had a panic attack. Well, I'm going to tell you, thinking about being afraid is not good for you. Intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts. So actually, Yasmin, my last one was very much about like what the thoughts, the one on my profile was about thoughts like that. But we can absolutely talk about intrusive thoughts. But we already kind of did in a way. And I want you guys to think about that thing. The brain is throwing negative thoughts your way because it's still wired for a time when the world was more dangerous. Guys, 150 years ago, wolves were a problem. Wolves were a regular problem. You know, husband goes outside while wife is cooking. That sounds sexist, but this is 150 years ago, mind you. Husband goes outside to do some work, and he gets attacked by a bunch of wolves. And then the wolves jump into the house and attack the wife. that kind of problem doesn't exist anymore. So that was only 150 years ago. How much do you think we could evolve in 150 years? Being animals that live almost 100 years old, it doesn't happen. Now, bacteria and stuff, they can move pretty quickly in time. They can change and reproduce. That's why every year there's a new cold strain and things like that. But it's not like every year, oh, now people don't have pinky toes. Oh, now people can breathe underwater. That kind of stuff doesn't happen. Our evolutionary process is slow compared to very small creatures. So the brain is old. The brain is essentially the same exact brain that we've had for the last 10,000 years. In fact, it's actually gotten a little bit smaller over the last 10,000 years, about 10% smaller. And it's probably gotten smaller in the last 10 years, honestly, with the crap that we feed it all the time. Okay, let's keep moving. Are you guys still with me? You guys want to keep learning? You ready for a good practice, something that you can apply to your right now that's going to make us all feel really calm and apply to your everyday life, something that's going to help you sleep better, something that's going to help you start your day off better, something that's going to help teach your body how to feel calm. You guys want that? Show me some love. Let me know. Laura, my 9-year-old has had a few anxious episodes, I'm sure because he's been out with me when I've been anxious, and I talk to him and tell him he's okay. Everything we need to tell ourselves, I tell him. That's good, Krista. We got to be strong for our kids. They're very impressionable. Gotta be strong. And I'm going to help teach you, Krista, how to be strong. I'm going to show you the way. And you're going to be even stronger for your kid. You're already doing a good job telling them the right stuff. Thanks, Krista. I'm gonna get like a CD that you can just jam out to all the time with wolf howls and all. Yeah, yes, yup, yeah. Great. Both Davids are in. I'm glad. I'm really happy. I used to have suicidal thoughts over 8 years ago, but thank God not anymore. So that's kind of like an intrusive thought, right? Guys, I found a suicide note of mine one time that I forgot I even wrote. And it wasn't even at a time that I wasn't thinking about it. I was contemplating my own suicide when and I hate to say this out loud because it goes on the internet, but I'm just going to tell you, I was after we had our first kid. It's not like I wasn't going to do it. I knew that I wasn't, but thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. I got the wolf laugh. That's good. These things, they're just thoughts. And our thoughts can have a ton of power, or they can't. The way that we give our thoughts power is by thinking about them more and more and more. At one point, you believed in Santa Claus. It's all good. No sadness. No sadness. No. This is good. This is all happy. Bye, Mary. I love you. Mwah. Everything is good. Everything is happy. Don't be sad. I'm so happy that I had horrible thoughts. I'm so happy that my mom went way overboard on me as a kid, because I'm here right now with you guys and I'm going to be able to help. And I love helping. That's a beautiful, wonderful thing. No sad thoughts. Give me love and laughter. Laugh at me. It's good. It's good. Trust me, guys. It's so good. I've had epiphany upon epiphany about just being so grateful and so happy that I'm able to help people. Oh, thank you, Mary. Maybe, but probably not. We give our thoughts life. Yes, we do. Literally. Everything around us has started as a thought. Look at this crazy world. So guys, this is what we're going to do. We are going to do a pause breath right now. And a pause breath is my little coin term for a way to press pause on your reality, to learn how to relax, how to calm the monkey mind, as they say. We have to learn how to find more moments of clarity. So if you were going to play in the Super Bowl, you wouldn't just go right to it. You would practice, and then you'd get there, right? So we have to teach our bodies how to practice for calm, how to practice for clarity, because you don't fight anxiety. That's like hitting a beehive with a stick. What you have to do is practice calmness and clarity, and then you get to that more and more, and then you become a pro at calmness and clarity. You just have to practice it. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. And remember that our thoughts are wolf food. And what are you feeding your wolf when you're thinking negatively about yourself, when you're thinking negatively about your future, about the past, when you're looking to the future, when you're talking to people? You know, which wolf are you feeding? And just try to remember those wolves. Ow! So, Mr. Cornwall, I had visited the MRI scanning room with my wife, and now this time, 4:30 a.m., I woke up and couldn't sleep. Feels to thinking my heart functioning, does it working, or I'm going to get a heart attack. Okay, so that is actually a question I'm going to answer, thinking about your heart and having the having the heart attack. Laura, if there are previous lives, I think I was horrible in all of them, because I think that you get better and better if there are previous lives, but I don't think that that's not my spiritual or religious views. I want to be a monk. But, you know, I also want to be a dad, so I can't go out and live in the woods. Think about that. I use these analogies because they stick. So the next time you're going, why am I anxious? I hate being anxious. You are batting that beehive with a stick, and you're just going to get stung. I'm happy and peaceful. You should have met me 2 years ago. You should have. I reinvented myself, as you guys are going to do too. I know I'm talking a lot, Amy says. No. It's all good, Amy. But I do have a question. If you are an adult, which I am, and you live with your mom or dad and you want to get married and they say no, you can't get married, what do you do? Amy girl, I'm gonna give you 2 life lessons right here. Tiffany, you missed a little bit, but this Rose likes me. And that's good, because she's going to leave these up, and you guys can access these videos anytime in the group. So don't worry, you can go back. Yes, Mr. Cornwall, all of your questions, I will answer them at the end of this. I'm just doing a sidetrack for Amy here. So Amy, one thing, your constant need to ask questions, even though, and I love you, trust me, I don't have enemies. I love everybody. Even that girl that was calling me out yesterday in this group, I love her to death. And if she's watching this, I love you. I won't say her name, but I hope she is, because she could use it. It could help her a little bit. And she wants to help people too. So if she gets better and she helps more people, it's all the power to her. I love everybody. I refuse to hate people. I refuse to invite that negativity into me. So I am not saying this to hurt your feelings. I'm saying this to open your eyes up just a little bit. Your constant need to ask questions has a lot to do with your anxiety. Your needing to do something. I got to ask another question. Got to ask another question. I got to be on my cell phone. I got to text. I got to call. I got to play a game. I got to play Candy Crush. I got to do this. Feels anxious, right? You guys are probably making you anxious right now. That kind of, that's the stuff that you want to cut back on as much as you can. Just breathe and relax and allow the questions to come. We're going to get to it. What do? You do whatever you want to do, Amy. I'm sure your husband doesn't want to live in your parents' house, so he will probably ask you to move out with him, hopefully. Or you guys can both live at your parents' house in spite of them. I don't know. You do what you want. This is your life. You only have one life to live as far as we know. Although Laura might be right. Maybe I was a monk at one point, or maybe I'm a monk in the next one. But we do know that we have this life, and we do definitely know that we are all going to die someday. It's the one thing that we all have in common with each other. High five. So, number 1, there's no reason to fear it. Number 2, we might as well just accept it. Number 3, we might as well make this life the best possible thing that we can make it, because we could go at any second. So why not focus on having the happiest, calmest, best life ever, rather than focusing on woe is me or why my life sucks so bad, or validating all the bad things that have happened to us, validating how much this hurts or how badly this feels. So, what we think we become, okay, guys? So we're going to do the breathing exercise. It's a pause breath. It's in the shape of a rectangle. What you do is you inhale for 4 seconds, 4 very slow seconds. Pause for 2 seconds, exhale for 4 very slow seconds, and then pause again and you repeat. But we're only going to do the 3 parts: inhale, pause, exhale. Now, people, you guys have tried breathing exercises. There's a chance that you haven't tried it the way that Kale explains it. I'm really, really good at breaking things down. If I want to be something in the future, I want to be the alien ambassador that teaches an alien that's never seen a sandwich how to make a sandwich and what a sandwich is and all that good stuff. Because I'm good at explaining things. If I have one talent, that's it. So when you're inhaling, your eyes are closed, you're in a comfortable position, and you're breathing in very slowly, and you want your belly to expand, like you're filling a balloon up with air, like you're pumping up a ball. Your belly is going to expand. So what does that do? It pulls your diaphragm down, which is the muscle under your lungs, which allows your lungs to pull in more air than they're typically pulling in. A lot of us chest breathe. We think we breathe like, and that's how breathing works, but it's not. When you're sleeping, your belly does a lot of the breathing. I cured my sleep apnea like this. Here, look, I still got it. I still got this. This is my CPAP machine. Ta-da! I don't need it anymore because it wasn't really a physical thing as much as it was me not. Yeah, Tiffany, we're gonna go over it very specifically. What am I missing here? Oh, I got to go get supper ready. My family thinks they need to eat for some reason. I'll finish watching the replay. Have a good evening, y'all. Thank you so much, Krista. It'll be a good replay. And Laura, same thing. Guys, eat dinner. Go ahead. This will be here. But we're going to get into some specifics, and I didn't forget about you, Amy, okay? Or any of your other questions. I got them all. I'm all right here. Especially you, Mr. Cornwall. So, your belly expands. Your belly is going to expand. You want to pay a lot of attention to your belly. Your eyes are going to be closed while you're inhaling. The only thing you want to focus on is the sound of the air, the feeling of the air that is going into your nostrils, the feeling as it goes down into your trachea, into your lungs, as your belly expands. You pay attention to that like it's a new movie. Pay attention to it like it's your favorite song, or like it's your child, or like it's your dog. Your eyes are closed and pay all the attention in the world to that. And then pause for 2 seconds. And when you're pausing for those 2 seconds, just listen. Don't judge anything. Don't pick apart sounds. Just allow sounds to happen. Feel your body. Be in your body. And then as you exhale, I want you to feel tension release. A lot of women especially hold the tension in their shoulders and their neck. A lot of men in their jaw and their temples, but we all hold it all over the place. Maybe even your hands or your feet. I want you to pretend that you can feel it. Pretend that you can feel it releasing, okay? And if you don't feel it releasing, the next 50 times you try this thing, because that's how many times I want you to keep doing it forever and ever and always. The next times that you try it, you can put your shoulders up and just drop them when you're exhaling. And when you're dropping them, what you're doing is training your muscles. When your belly is expanding, you're training your muscles to breathe that way. And while it's expanding, you can pay attention to the stretching. So here's how people do this wrong. They think about other things. They think about not thinking about anything. Think about your breathing. Think about the feeling. Pay very, very, very close attention to all of that stuff. The first couple times you do it, if you have a lot of anxiety, you are not going to be very good at it, but you might get a little relaxed. But I promise you, if you do this enough, you're going to get really good at it. And it's going to be a great way for you to press pause. So inhale 4 seconds, belly, pause for 2, exhale for 4 seconds. Tiffany's a singer, so she knows, see? It has a lot to do with the way you sing and where your voice comes from, and if you want to get the most air into your lungs. Sarah, I have a habit, twisting my hair, smelling it, snapping it off. It's part of my anxiety. I'm losing quite a bit of hair because of it. I need to learn how to stop doing that, but I do it now without thinking. Is that a question, Sarah, my girl? I'll put bad habits on here, okay? And we'll talk about that. You should get the same talk Amy just got, okay? Let's try to invite some calmness and some clarity and some understanding. Jody says so true as well. Amy's still with me. She doesn't hate me anymore. Sarah, yeah, I'll give you some tips. We're getting there. We're getting there, girl. Would you like me to tell you how to stop twisting your hair, or would you like me to tell you how to rewire your brain for calmness and clarity? Don't answer that. We're going to do the second one, and then the first one. So inhale 4, pause 2, exhale 4. And we're going to do it right now. We're going to try to feel this right now. And if you guys do it with me, that means that you're serious. And if you don't do it with me, that means that you're not serious about this. Actually, I take that back. It means that you're sincere. I'm going to tell you guys the difference at one point. I pull my lips and bite them over anxiety. We have habits. We have habits. Both, she says. You're going to get both. So, Do this breathing exercise with me, guys. If you're really sincere about getting better, do this breathing exercise with me. And if you do it right, you might even yawn. And yawning would be a beautiful thing right now. So here we go. I'm going to get all awkward on your butts. Okay. Anybody feel more relaxed? Anybody feel different? So here's the thing, guys. Anxiety has so much to do with where we put our attention. Everything in our lives do, but anxiety is very, very important about this. It has so much to do with where we put our attention. Jody says yes, feeling a little calmer. If we choose to put our attention on anxiety, if we choose to put our attention on, I need to find the answer here, I need to look here, I need to find it here, I need to go on to WebMD, I need to search for this, I need to check my heart rate, I need to do this, then that is what we're feeding our minds. We're feeding our minds constant need. But if we focus our minds on calmness and clarity, if we teach our body what it's like to live in the safest time in human history, which is right now, if we can teach that to our bodies day after day after day, anxiety will be bye-bye. What's going to happen, and this is your homework from now on for me, okay? I want you to wake up and do this. I want you to do this to fall asleep at night. I want you to do this. I want you to set alarms on your phone, and I want you to do it every hour, every half hour, every 20 minutes. Stop everything that you're doing. Put your phones down. Close your eyes. Get into a safe, comfortable place. Breathe in super duper duper slowly and pay very, very close attention to that, and breathe and be calm. And the more you do this, do it when you're calm, do it when you're anxious. The more you do this, not only will you be training your body for more calm, you'll be wiring your intention, your awareness, your reality for calmness and clarity. You'll get smarter because you'll be happier, and you will be delivering way more oxygen to your brain than you're used to delivering because you're shallow breathing right now and you're anxious all the time. David, right. Oh, it's beautiful. He was relaxed with the breathing. Perfect. Till the Rottweiler farted. Now he's inhaling it. Yeah, let's make a note of this. Let's keep the dog away from us when we're doing the deep breathing exercises. I got 2 kids and 2 dogs, and I have experienced the exact same thing multiple times. My wife and I were meditating the other night, which I recommend to do in the morning anyway, but we were meditating the other night, and one of the dogs let one rip, and I was so in the zone of deep breathing, and it pulled me back out. I was just like, oh God, I'm like my full lungs of big dog fart. Yeah, get those dogs away from when you're deep breathing. So deep breathing is really important, and it's all about where we put our attention. So if we put our attention on our breathing, on our bodies when we're calm, on a tree, on things that we love, on our dreams and our goals in life, we start to rewire our brain for that kind of stuff. And anxiety, what you're going to find is you're going to come out of the breathing and go, where's anxiety? It's still there. You're going to look over your shoulder and it's going to be going, hang on, here I come, here I come. Now this is the most important part, guys. You're not cured right away. You're not cured in 3 days. You're working actively towards it. When you come off of that breathing and you're calm and you finally found a little taste of that present moment, even if it's for half a second, shove beauty into your mind. Plant flowers, plant, seeds of goodness and calmness and things that you love, your dreams and your goals. What I want you to do is take out a piece of paper and write down on it like one vivid thought, memory, whatever. Just write that so that you have it. And when we're done with this, what I want you guys to do is write down some kind of memory, something really beautiful that you can remember, something really good and pure that has no negative connotations. Not like, oh, I love the beach, but I haven't gone because I've been. No, not like that. It's got to have something just simple. And if you guys don't have anything, that's okay. I've been there. I was not grateful for anything multiple times in my life. put box of kittens and think about a box of kittens. And what I want you to do when you come off of that breathing is still with your eyes closed and you're in that calm state. And you do that pause after your exhale for 2 seconds and focus intently on something good and something happy. And what you're doing is feeding your mind calmness instead of adrenaline and fear and tigers. You're going kittens, little gray kitty cats that smell all cute. You can scratch them behind their ears and make them fall asleep. And go back to your breathing and feed your mind more and more of that. Guys, there's scientific research out there that says you're smarter when you're happier. There's my favorite research study in the whole world, the longest study to have ever gone on, 75 years. The keys to long life, to longevity in life, there's 2. Number 1, happiness. People that rated their lives as happy. Number 2, solid relationships with people that they could fight with, they could argue with them, but at the end of the day or week or whatever, they were always trying to get to the same goal. They were healthy relationships. So happy relationships, so loving relationships. So key to living long is happy and happy junior. So it does a lot for your internals. If you feel bad, there's chemicals in your body that are hurting your body. If you feel good, there's chemicals in your body that are helping your body, right? It has to be. That's just the way that it works. Diabolic Silence says, I love clubbing and laughs. Don't know. I don't trust you right now with that name. How are you? So, feed your mind positive thoughts. These pause breaths, do them as often as you can. When your attention goes to fear, when your attention goes to pain, when your attention is on your heart racing out of control, take your attention and go somewhere else. So this is the way that the mind works. It's a big onion, and we're peeling the onion back. Not like a stinky fart onion, but an onion with layers. And what happens first is logic. Logically, right now, should I be afraid? Heck no. There's nothing for me to be afraid about. There's no tiger here, but I feel it. I feel it, Kale. I feel it. It's okay. Don't validate it. Don't talk about feeling it. We're still up here in logic. Everything is good. Everything is happy. Everything's calm, logically, right? How do we get to the level where we feel it and we really believe that everything is okay? Because if you truly believed it, and if you didn't feel like you had anxiety, then you wouldn't have anxiety. If you didn't feel anxiety, it wouldn't be there. So how do we tap into that? Start with logic. Logically, we all know that we want a calmer life. Type calm if you agree. If logically a calmer life is a better life. Nobody? What kind of life do you guys want? Yasmin says calm. Pamela, I hope you get on too. I hope you can watch later as well. Amy, you gotta go. You have so much need. Why do you have to go study right now? Amy, you got so many questions. This is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to answer them anyway. Do you want me to answer them at the end of this video so you can watch? Hi, Rebecca. Yes, I have. I'm a talking machine. Jody, we will get there in a moment. I got you on here. I got you on here, girl. Freeway. I do, I promise. Hey, look. Freeway. Hi, Rebecca. Peaceful and fun. Okay. So we agree that a calmer life is a better life. So we want to wire our minds for calmness. We want to invite calmness and clarity more and more. So you guys, please, 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 please do the breathing exercise. Please, please, please do the homework where you're writing down. You're very welcome, Jody. No problem. Where you write down some kind of memory, if it's your kid, if it's your dog, if it's your friend, if it's the beach, if it's whatever, but peel it apart like an onion. So here we start with logic. Logic is easy, you know, for most of us to see it on paper anyway, like that. Sarah's back. Good. The next thing is thoughts. You know, what we think. These are very, very, very important. Blessings to you, Victoria. Thoughts are very important, but you can say, I don't want anxiety, or I'm thinking about calm and I'm not getting better. What's wrong with me? You have to think so much that you start to feel it. And once you start to feel it, then you start to believe it. And when you get down to that belief level, you've rewired your brain. You're starting to. It's not an overnight process. It's days, weeks, maybe months, maybe. But that's what it takes. You got to get yourself down to the belief level, right? So we all say calm is what we want, logically. How much thought, effort, work are you guys putting in on a regular basis to have a calm life? How much calmness are you inviting into your head? How often do you stop and smell the roses? How often do you appreciate the forest for the trees? It's not a natural human thing because we are weak and we are wired to be danger, like looking out for danger. We're wired for negativity, as I said earlier. So it takes a lot of work, Rebecca says. Absolutely. But it's the best work. It's the best work you guys can do for yourselves. So to rewire ourselves, logically, we got it. Thoughts. We have to hammer those thoughts home. The only way that we can just fill our head with good thoughts is to do it as much as we possibly can. So every time you come down from that pause breath, you just positive thoughts, just lots and lots of good stuff. So you go, but I'm afraid of this. Now what you're saying is, but I'm afraid, negative. No, you stop. Of course you're afraid. But the more you validate your fear, the more you're wiring your brain for fear. Makes sense, right? So your fear hits you. Now it's your responsibility. Now you have the ability to respond to this the way that you want to respond. You have to focus now on something good. I'm afraid, but I don't want to be a fearful person. I'm anxious, but I don't want to be an anxious person. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to focus my positive energy. I'm going to focus my energy on positivity. I'm going to focus my energy on things that I love. I'm going to focus my energy on the person that I want to be, not on the person that I don't want to be. And I have to apologize. I shouldn't have even said I don't want to be anxious. Don't even say it. Don't say I don't want to be anxious, because just like I said earlier, it's the genie that grants whatever stupid thing comes out of your mouth. Your subconscious goes, anxious. Okay, duly noted. Stop thinking about anxiety. Stop talking about anxiety. When it comes up, switch your thoughts hard. Just hammer these beautiful, loving, happy thoughts into your head and breathe very deeply and breathe very slowly. And the good thoughts will start to outweigh the bad ones. This is how well it works, and I can prove to you guys that it works in this very instance. I like pizza. And if I think about pizza right now, this is how I would do it. I say, I love a warm slice of pizza that's pretty hot, but not too hot. It's just right. And the crust is kind of thick, and it's a little crispy, but it's not like too crispy. And it's got some garlic and some flour and some salt on there, and the cheese is stretchy and gooey, and the sauce is just right, and the pepperoni is still sizzling. And I just take a nice, and while I'm doing that, my mouth is salivating. If my mouth is salivating, do you guys think that my body believes I'm about to eat a slice of pizza? Yes, it does. So that's the way that you trick your whole subconscious and your whole physiology into believing that you're now in a state of calm. And you can think about pizza. That's the beauty of this, because pizza is not a debilitating thought. You can think about anything that you want as long as it's not a negative thing, or it has this uppercut that reminds you where you've been and how awful life has been to you so far. Focus on something good until you believe it, and believe it multiple times a day. Believe it 10 times a day, 20 times a day. And as it goes, as time goes on, shortly, within a day or two, you're going to notice a little difference. And that little difference is going to feel so good, you might even get addicted to it like I did. And start feeding it more and more and more. And set that alarm on your phones and do the pause breath and feed your mind. Feed that good wolf. That good wolf is hungry. He wants your help. Feed that good wolf your happy, happy thoughts. Rebecca says, I've done a lot to overcome my panic anxiety. You really do have to focus and try to get away from destructive what-if thinking. You're absolutely right, because your subconscious doesn't know any better. When you're saying, what if this happens, the subconscious is going, that must be very important to you. I'm going to make sure that we wire your reality for that kind of thinking. That's how it works. David, you've been on like 3 of my lives, brother. I'm glad you stuck around this long for this one. You're taking everything more sincerely, and I appreciate that. Victoria, yes, just like a smoker, when thinking on a cigarette, most can start tasting the tobacco just thinking on it. Absolutely. You wired your brain for all that kind of stuff. Jody gets it now. Jody, I love it. Oh no, I unpinned that one comment. That was a good comment. Shoot. I'll get it. I'm sure one of you guys will have another really good epiphany in here, but it's all good. So, now we know some best practices. We understand that framing our thoughts is very important. Look, guys, bad things happen to us, but can one of you guys write this out for me? Pain is mandatory, but suffering is optional. You know, we can't stop being hurt by something hurts us, something happens to us. We can't stop that. But it's what we do after that. It's our ability to respond to that is so very important. And if we focus on that fear, it will crush us, and we will become that fear. If you stare into the eyes of the abyss will begin to look back. That's how it works. But if you focus on warmness and happiness and calmness and clarity, I wish so bad that I could have filmed the kind of person that I was just even last year when I was starting this journey out, what kind of neurotic jerk I was. Now look at my big goofy smile. And I still have ways to climb, and I still have my hard days. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not suffering from anxiety anymore. And I choose not to suffer, because when something happens to me, I go, okay, what am I going to do with this? Where am I going to go from here? And we go deeper down the rabbit hole, but this is essentially how you treat anxiety, these things. Now I'm going to help you uncover your specific problems. So feel free to ask them. I have about 10 questions here we're going to talk about. You guys it looks like you're going to have me for at least 2 hours on here. Pain is mandatory, but suffering is optional. There it is. Thank you. We're going to pin that comment. Oh, good. It was you again, Tiffany, because your comment was originally pinned. So I'm glad I get to pin your comment again. Okay, so, oh, you're all doing it. I love you. I love you all. Beautiful people. Change is coming. Change is coming. If you want it more, then you want to validate your pain. Then you want to validate what happened to you in the past. Then you want to validate your fears of the future. Pain or change is coming. If you care more about changing, then you care about telling everybody how bad your anxiety is. Then you care about asking people if they also have really horrible anxiety, because when you're saying anxiety, you're feeding the bad wolf. You're bringing anxiety in. You're telling your subconscious that this must be very important for my survival. That's why I'm paying so much attention to it. And I want you guys to say that happiness is important to your survival, because I just told you about that scientific study, because it is important to your survival. But it makes life so much better to just be happy and calm. So the first thing was Yasmin, who asked me before we even got on here. Hi, Rose. I'm answering specific questions. And I'm still alive. I still have some water left. My voice is still working. How do you beat panic attacks? So this is how you beat a panic attack. You do every single thing that I told you. You reframe your thoughts. You breathe deeply and slowly multiple times a day. You be selfish for yourself, and you love yourself. And feed the good wolf as much as you possibly can. You're planting flowers up here. Don't worry about picking weeds. Those weeds will wither away and die. You can't pick weeds because they just grow back. So you can't fight. You can't take anxiety out. You can't say, I don't want to be anxious anymore. Just let it go. Focus on feeding yourself calmness more and more and more. Wouldn't it make sense that, like, the cure for fire is water, not grabbing the fire and scratching at it and pulling it out? So anxiety is the fire. We need to feed water to our brain, and slowly but surely that'll fizzle away. So think about it. No pulling weeds. Just oh, thank you, Jody. Appreciate that. Think about that. How many flowers are you planting every hour, every day? The more and more. Oh my gosh, it's trying to kick me off. I almost clicked leave. I'm not leaving yet. We're just getting to the questions. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that if it froze. How do you beat a panic attack? So we do all the homework that I gave you so far. You have a really, really good talk track, something really beautiful that you can pull into your head and think it until you believe it, until you feel it. And you do that, and you practice, and you invite calmness and clarity into your mind and into your day. One of my clients recently, actually, after a really, really good talk, she woke up the next morning and she said, I woke up in a panic, but that's okay, because I noticed that I was panicking and I decided to plant flowers. And right after I started planting flowers, it started dissipating. And she's like, I'm sure I'll have nightmares. I'm sure it's going to be a tough road. I've been doing this for a long time. My muscle memory is very used to the chemicals in my body. They're very, very used to having this negativity. So it's going to be a work in progress, but I've never been able to switch it so quickly. And that's what I want you guys to be able to do, is just switch it. Just switch it. So if you're practicing calmness 10 hours a day, and then that last hour of the day you have a panic attack, it's okay. Don't take it seriously. Just take yourself sincerely. Relax on it. It's all right. And go look at where you're thoughts are. Look at where your attention is and focus on something good. And it's going to be hard at first. You're not going to come right out of an anxiety attack the first time. You're not. You might actually. You might be really, really, really good because you guys are able to make your hearts race by fearing anxiety. So you might be that powerful. And all the power to you if you are. But if you're not, it's okay. Just keep practicing. Just keep practicing. And when panic strikes you, know that you're okay logically. Then feed your head as many amazingly calming, good thoughts. Don't worry about how bad you're feeling. Don't worry about the anxiety, and see if you can get down to that feeling level of calm and just maintain slow, deep breathing. And if you want, don't even waste thought. Focus all of your, sorry if that was loud, focus all of your thought on just your breathing. It's very, very easy. Trust me, focusing on breathing is way, way better for you than focusing on your anxiety. Rebecca likes the things that I'm saying. Rebecca, you must help people too, I guess, huh? We make things as real as we want to make them. So that's panic attacks. So the freeway, Jody, you are up. The freeway. So here's something with those of you that are struggling with driving on, in driving, when you're afraid to drive. In everything in life, you can take baby steps. I just want you to be very, very careful about taking baby steps in a place that you can hurt yourself or other people, right? For agoraphobiacs, I say to, if that sounds weird, like labeling people that are afraid to go outside, I tell them to take baby steps. I tell them to go outside and come back in. Go outside, come back in. Go outside a little further and come back in. And just do it and just have fun with it. And the beautiful thing is everything that I said so far is going to work for all of your problems. You just have to know how to focus it on your problem. So I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you do that. Free coaching by Kale right here. So the freeway. You're on the freeway and you're terrified that you're going to get into a wreck. Fearing death is silly. You cannot prevent your own death. Fearing death logically makes sense. It's irrelevant, right? So how do we do it? Do we just say, it's stupid to fear death? It's wrong to fear death. I'm not going to fear death. No. Because what our brain goes is, oh, fearing death must be a pretty serious topic for this person's survival. I think we should give more fear death thoughts. No, what you have to do is say, I love life. And life is good, and life is calm. And I know how to drive, and I love driving. I love driving with the window down because it blows in my hair, and you just keep telling this ridiculously happy story deep, 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 deep. And the deeper that you get into it, the more you're leaving anxiety way in the dust. It's way back there. And the more often anxiety is left in the dust, the more likely it's just going to say, forget it. I can't keep up with you anymore. You're too calm. You're too relaxed. You don't need me anymore. And then anxiety comes and you're like, I don't need you. And it says, oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. Nothing. You have nothing to fear here? And you're like, yeah, no. I'm good. So if you can drive, but then you think that you might panic while you're driving, focus on good. And there's so many things you can focus on safely while you're driving that's what you have to do. And just breathe and relax and be gentle on yourself. Be happy with yourself. It's okay that you've gone this far. If everything is supposed to happen for a reason, life, I believe, comes full circle for everything and everyone. Then make this that moment that you needed to get to. You needed to hit such a low so that you could get on here with me for 2 hours and listen to me talk so that your brain would finally go, aha, that's how I do it. That's how I'm going to beat this whole thing. So Jody says, I'm just scared when I leave to drive, I won't come back home. I'll wreck or die or something. So you have to get to a logical place first about this, Jody. What do you think fearing death or fearing driving is doing for you? Is it serving you? So I'm going to give you guys another lesson here really quick. There's two ways to look at everything in life. There's truth and there's right. What's right are the things that you can win an argument. You can, you're validated. You have anxiety. You have PTSD. You have depression. The doctor told you your chemicals are off. Your levels are different. That's what's right. But what's right doesn't serve you. What's right doesn't help you become a better person. What's right doesn't get you to where you want to go. So you have to focus on what's true. What's the truth? The truth is that paying attention to your own death is not good for you. That paying attention to your own death is planting weeds in your head. It's inviting negativity. And the more you pay attention to it, Jody, the closer you're going to bring yourself to it. No matter what, that's just how it is. And you'll get it someday. We all will. If it takes you 80 years or it takes you 10 years, that's what's going to happen. We're all going to die someday. There's no point in fearing your own death. Why not? This is how you reframe it. I love my own life. I'm grateful for this crazy gift. It's 1 in 150 million chance that you're even here. Love it. Love it. Love, 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 love. That's how you beat it. It's your thoughts are going to come back. Your thoughts are going to come back and say, hey, remember we're afraid of death? Just say, I know, but I really love life, and I love calmness, and I love clarity, and I love myself, and I love my mom or my dad, and I love fruit, but you pick that one story, really. You don't want to jump all over the place. You pick one really, really happy, important story, and you dive into that. The more and more your brain shifts to, oh, calmness, clarity, oh, calmness, clarity, then your subconscious starts to get it. Then your rewiring starts to happen. You can't validate it. So right now, by repeating, but I'm afraid I'm going to die. What you're doing is being right. Yes, we know you're afraid that you're going to die, but that's just right. That's not truth. That's not serving you. So understand it that way and start looking at it like, is this serving me? Is this helping me become the person that I'm supposed to be? The person that I want to be? Just think about it. I hear you, and it's tough work, but you can do it, all right? Rebecca, okay, I have a question. What do you do when having a panic attack at work, especially when you work with patients and you can't get away? So Rebecca, at first, you don't have much to do except trying to focus on what's right instead of trying to notice that your insides are going. You got to focus on your work. If you're a nurse or a doctor or whatever, focus on what you're doing and just breathe very slowly and focus on loving yourself. Focus on your accomplishments. Focus on how good you've done. Focus on how much you've done to get to the place that you are. And the focus goes from logic down to thoughts. And if you bombard yourself with enough thoughts, you'll get to a level of feeling. And that level of feeling will get you to help to believe that you don't have anxiety. And as you believe it, it will slowly dissipate. So you have to work it from that angle. And the first couple of times are going to be really tough. The only way that you're going to get to a level where you're not feeling anxious in those situations is when 95% of your life is you being calm. Not necessarily. If 20% of your life is you being calm. I was saying in the beginning of this thing, how many of us go to bed at night, right before we go to bed, we go, can you believe that 18 great things happened to me today? No, we say, oh, that one crappy thing happened to me today. We have to reframe the way that we think about things. We have to think about things in a positive way. And the more that we do that, the more that becomes who we are as a person, and the less likely we're going to get anxious. And the better we're going to get at just, no thank you, anxiety. Hello, calm and clarity. You don't even say no thank you, anxiety. You see it, and you say, hello, calm and clarity. That's what you do. I acknowledge that you're there. Calm and clarity. I love calm and clarity. I love my intelligence and my skills with my hands and being personable and seeing new patients every day and helping people get better and until you got this going on. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, Jody, you do get it. Talk about the positive. And you know what? You're in the car. It's a beautiful time. All right, David. It's a beautiful time to do this. Here, I'll show you guys one of my favorite new practices. So just talking is good, right? It's good. It feels good. But you really want to feel it, right? We got to get a feeling going. So how do we get on the level of feeling when we really, really just want to feel it right away, right? So you guys know I'm not embarrassed to do anything. This is what we're going to do. If you want to feel happy, you have to say, I love being happy. I love it. I love life. I'm so grateful to be here. It's so good to be alive. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love driving. It's calm. I love the wind. I love it. And the more and more you do that, the more and more you yell it, your body starts going into this, hey, wait, he's not terrified. He's excited. He's happy. She's ready to roll. This is good. And then you're trying to build up positivity on that kind of like high level. And you'll feel it a lot easier. So do that in the shower. Do that in the car. Do that whenever the heck you want. Rebecca probably can't do that in front of the patients, so otherwise she might scare them away. But you can choose to do that to jumpstart yourself into that positivity, into that happiness. Then do your breathing. And then tell your story about pizza or whatever it's going to be, something that puts you into that calm state, and just do it all the time. Set your alarm on your phone 10 times a day. Just do it. Keep practicing it. When the bad stuff happens, it's okay. It's okay. This is not a pill. This is not going to take something away from you. This is a work in progress. You are practicing for the Super Bowl. And you guys, if you want to win, you got to keep practicing. You got to keep practicing, okay? So Jody, when you say, I guess I'm scared, I'll die, and won't be around my kids, always negative like that. But, okay, you know, but you say, I'm going to be more positive and think about it more than the negative. That's where you end the sentence. I guess I'm going to be more positive. I'm going to be more positive, actually. That's where you end it. Don't put the flip side of the coin. For every peak, there is a valley. Everything in life, we're always going to have, there's always going to be ups and downs. Guys, if life was perfect, we would all commit suicide at like age 5. We really would. It would be so boring. You cannot have a life that's perfect. Life cannot work like that. There has to be ups and downs. But our lives can either be like this, or they can be like this. You know what I'm saying? Where the downs aren't as down and the ups are a little bit more up every time. And if you feed yourself for positivity, then you slowly work yourselves up, 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 up. So you just have to keep working. You just have to keep working. And look at how you frame your thoughts and don't throw the negativity. Rebecca says, you're right. We are so prone to focusing on the negative. So Rebecca, I think you missed the beginning of this. I tell actually why we focus on the negative. It's ancient man. We are wired to do that because we're weak, little, pathetic creatures with big brains. We need to believe the positive instead. Amen. We need to tell ourselves truth. Oh, I love it. I love it. That's the truth, guys. We're safe. Everything's okay. Sounds great. I love it. LOL. David, you're back. That's good because we were not talking at all the whole time. Definitely rewind this. Watch this little chunk. Where are we at? David, we're at 1:51. So you left maybe 5 minutes ago. There was a nice little rendition in there you can watch and laugh at me. Jody, think positive and positive things happen. Jody, yes. I kid you not. Just like finding the money on the ground when you think that you're lucky, if you go into this life with gratitude, with happiness in your heart, life will get better. I'm not saying that it gets perfect, and I'm not saying that bad things will not happen to you, but you handle them better. And more good it gets attracted to you. We can get on the spiritual level of this. We can get on quantum physics level of this, but 2 hours is probably enough. And I want you guys to absorb this. So I don't want to dive so deep that you wake up tomorrow and you're like, what the heck happened yesterday? Like a bender or something. I want just enough information that you can absorb it. I will be positive. I will plant more flowers and take a calm breath. Take lots of calm breaths. Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly. I like what you say. Not everybody gonna like me. Not everybody's gonna like you. Kimberly, are you just chiming in now, girl? If you are, this has probably been the best one that I've done so far, honestly. I need to set up reminders to watch you. Go to my profile and hit follow and hit see first, and you'll be able to do that, guys. I have it set up so you can just follow me and see first, and I'll pop up anytime I'm doing this stuff. I don't post much stuff on like my personal stuff anymore, like family junk. So it's, all the stuff that I love. No, just kidding. But I'm focusing really heavily on trying to help people heal. So the stuff that pops up, it'll be all for that. Please do. I really believe self-talk does rewire thinking. Also, knowledge helps knowing. It does. That's why I like coming at it from this level. Laura was calling me a monk before, but I like coming at it from a high level of science. A lot of this stuff is very quantum physics. It's where reality is going to be going very, very shortly in the future. So let's see. Is Evelina still in here? Jody, you're so welcome. Share the video. Share it. Share me. Help me get more people. Help me help more people, I should say. That's all I want to do. Help me. I love everybody, and I want people to be happy. Want to know why? I want my enemies to be happy because a terrorist would not blow up anything if he was happy. Because a happy world is a more peaceful world. A happy world is a more productive world. Yes, Evelina, you're still here. Sweet. You should go into quantum physics aspect next time. That's some deep stuff. Maybe in my group, but absolutely, I'm really into that stuff. Evelina, let's talk. Evelina, what are you still thinking about right now? I got fears. We can talk about that. You let me know whatever question you want to hit on first. You can throw all your questions at me right now. I'll answer everything for you. While she's typing, I want to talk about health anxiety because it goes hand in hand with what Jody was saying. Worrying about your fear, worrying about your own death, worrying about your own something bad happening to your body. You're only trying to tell your brain to make that thing happen. That's what you're doing. But instead, if you be thankful and grateful for having a healthy, happy body, you will be healthier and happier. That's the way that the placebo works. Thank you, Rebecca, isn't it? God, the crap that we see. Hey, Kimberly, thanks for noticing. I accidentally went too short, but thank you. I've been cutting my own hair for like 10 years now. Worrying is like a rocking chair. You're moving but getting nowhere. I might steal that one, Rebecca. That's a good one. So everybody knows the placebo effect, and when researchers, when big pharma is out there and they're testing their new drugs, they give placebos to patients and they give the real drug to patients. And they need to have a certain level of efficacy for the real drug. The real drug has to outdo the placebo by a certain percentage. The beautiful thing that not many people know is that a lot of people that take the placebos get better. A lot of people do, because they just believe in that doctor. They believe that just by taking a pill that a doctor gave them, they're going to get better. Therefore, if they believe it, they become better. That means that all you have to do is believe. You have to believe it. But you can't say, oh, I believe in God. You have to feel it. You have to believe that you can get better. I'm saying that as an example because a lot of people just say, I believe in God. But do they feel it? Do they really see it? You can see it and you can believe that your level of calmness exists because you've had it at one time or you can see it at one time. So there's another study where they gave them placebos and told them that it was a placebo. This is a fake drug. It has no medicinal purposes, and patients got better. Why? Because the physical action of doing that is so much ingrained in our systems that we get better. Evelina's got the questions going. Fear of becoming crazy and lack of perseverance. So your fears are not serving you. Evelina, what you think you will become, the more you focus, the fear is okay. Fear comes into your head, say, okay, and then focus on the box of kittens. Focus on something very positive. Focus on being grateful that you are as intelligent as you are, and say, you know what, I am smart. I like being smart. I love life, and you just keep feeding your head those thoughts. And every time the fear comes into your head, I want you to stop, and I want you to breathe. Tiffany says, freeway driving is in my future, and I love it. Breathe and pause. That's why we call it a pause breath. Put the pause on that fear. Thanks. Fear is useful. It's not useful right now. I don't need it right now. I'm going to focus on something good. And you got to do it again and again and again. Truth and right. What's right is that, well, I can be afraid now. No, you cannot. Don't do it. Don't feed that bad wolf even once. When you notice you're feeding it, stop and start feeding that good wolf. Lots and lots and lots of good food. And dude, the good outweighs the bad significantly because we're wired for negativity and we're not awfully miserable people. We're actually pretty okay people for the most part. So good thoughts and good intentions and love crush the bad stuff. You just got to start doing it enough. 10, 20% of the day, 30% of the day. Just start noticing. Just start picking away at it. Oh, I'm afraid of this. I do this. Just do that as much as you possibly can. And then lack of perseverance. We lose energy because we're putting so much energy into the negative. We don't realize it. When you start to realize it, you will begin to get positive. You'll begin to get more energy. I woke up at 4:30 this morning excited and wrote this big thing on my wall. You guys can read it if you want. I'm getting more and more passionate every day. I'm really excited about it. I love doing stuff like this. It makes me really happy. I'm not tired. Because happiness is like caffeine, guys. It's beautiful. It can really, really make you just like feel good about life. And it's also making my insides feel good, so I know I'm not being unhealthy. More happiness equals more energy. The more you feed that good wolf, the happier, the more energy you will have. I promise you that. And if not, take a nap. Taking a nap is okay. That's a great way to press pause and relax for the day. It's perfectly okay. If you guys are still with me, give me a yes or a thumbs up or something. Tiffany, thank you. Much love to you, Tiffany. Evelina, Oh wait, Rebecca, the power of placebo. We can be our own placebo. That is, Rebecca, that is the definition of it, right? We are our placebos, and they don't teach you this stuff because they can't package it, you know, and we're living in a world where money rules. So everything has a little bit of taint. Even if originally it starts as a good intention, there's something tainting the water there. And we are our own placebos. This is what I want to tell you guys. There's nothing wrong with your hearts. There is nothing wrong with your hearts, but your hearts race. Your hearts race because you tell your heart to race because of your fears. That means that your brain is so powerful that you can control your own heart beating. That means that you guys are strong enough to create whatever feelings you want in your body. All you got to do is figure out how to wield that weapon the right way. Just got to learn to change your perspectives, and the people that were in the worst, most depressed, most anxious situations will rise up and be the strongest people because they've been using this tool. They've been working out so hard in the wrong direction. Once they shift it the right way, power. Believe it, guys. Believe it. Kimberly says no caffeine. Yep. I wonder if she's behind. I wonder if that's possible. That we're getting her comments. No, I don't think that works that way. But no caffeine. Cut out caffeine. Cut out sugar. Evelina says, I can't nap because I have so much adrenaline in my body. I sleep using sleeping pills. So you do have adrenaline in your body right now, Evelina, which is a beautiful name, by the way. You have a lot of adrenaline in your body right now, but as you wire yourself for calmness and clarity, as you try to avoid the negative self-talk, the defeating stuff, the I can't, I won't, as you start saying, I love and I am and I'm going to be and things are okay and I'm safe, as you do that, the adrenaline will dissipate. It will. And that breathing exercise I taught you, do that while you're laying down. Do it even when you're taking the sleeping pill. But get that muscle memory going. Get that muscle memory going. Before you know it, you won't need sleeping pills to fall asleep. I had severe insomnia for a very long time. It made me a very, very mean person. And you can beat it. You can beat it. Insomnia is one of the easiest, quickest things to cure. But right now you're fighting with anxiety and insomnia. So you got to come at it from both angles. You have to keep feeding that positivity, keep feeding that calm and clarity. That's where I finally understood how to stop my panic attacks, because I know the power of the mind. So many people struggling out there, they don't realize, right, Rebecca, how strong the mind is. And it stinks because, gosh, there is not a more complex system in the entire universe than the human mind, as far as we know. I mean, there's got to be alien life forms out there, and I hope that they're smarter than us. but as far as we know, this is the most complex system in the whole universe. There's no pill that's out there that's the perfect pill. You know, every pill comes with side effects. Every pill does certain things but doesn't do enough. But this brain is where the problem came from in the first place. Even if you're born with anxiety, even if you're born with depression, the brain still has the power. It houses it. The house can change. The house can shift everything. You say yes. We are feeble, but our minds are not. I've had so many tests, been told by a lot of doctors that my heart is fine. Do you think I should trust them? Sarah? Yes, I do. Your doctors, you know what your doctor cares more about than you, Sarah? Their reputation. They do. They will lose you as a patient if they feel like it'll hurt their reputation. That's a fact. And nothing against them. They have families to feed. They'll say get lost and find another doctor if they think that their reputation could get harmed by telling you something that's not true or not medically appropriate. Absolutely believe them. Sarah, start believing that you're a happy, healthy person. Start believing in yourself. Start feeling it. So, Sarah, we did talk about health anxiety. I am going to tell you, like I'm your boss. You do not look up symptoms anymore unless somebody around you tells you that you need to look them up. You just need to give it a break. Give your phone a break. Give the overstimulation and Candy Crush and TV and news and constant stimulation. Give that a break. And by giving that a break, what I mean is go outside and breathe and get some sunlight. By giving that a break, I mean pause and breathe more. What you're doing when you're looking up those symptoms, Sarah girl, is you're trying to teach your subconscious that there's something wrong with you. And thankfully, it hasn't listened to you the right way yet. There's nothing wrong with you. Never look up symptoms. I don't know who Neil Postman is, but I'm going to agree with Rebecca most likely. Because the way that they're worded, by the end of it, we all have brain cancer. It's ridiculous. It's so silly. It's not helpful. It isn't helpful, and it's making you fear more. Especially if you get afraid enough, which you shouldn't be. You shouldn't even get afraid because you should be shifting your thoughts to positivity. But if you get to that level where you have to go see a doctor, and you see a doctor and they say you're good, then you take that and you say, then I am good because I'm healthy and I feel fun and I'm fantastic and I love my health and I'm going to live a long, healthy life and blah, 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 until you start to feel it and then you start to believe it. So I will, Rebecca. So let's see. We talked energy. We talked driving. Intrusive thoughts. Guys, we cannot control the thoughts that come into our heads. We cannot control what happens to what random subconscious thoughts come into our heads, but we can control what we do afterwards. We have choice. And what we do afterwards is very, very important. So that essentially wraps everything up with questions. Someone was asking about their dog. It might have been Evelina. You get to a level where you are so comfortable in your own mind because you've been planting so many flowers up here. You've got a beautiful garden that you don't need a dog. You don't need a boyfriend or a husband or a wife. You don't need a security blanket. You don't need anything because you're so good up here. And if you just keep planting flowers and you keep breathing slowly and deeply and keep practicing calmness and clarity, you will get to that level. And then you'll enjoy that dog in a true feeling of love and from a just perspective. Rebecca, I like you. Rebecca says, Sarah, my thoughts are my downfall. No, they're not. Your thoughts are your saviors. Your thoughts are serving you now. Your thoughts are wonderful. Your thoughts are full of flowers and posies and roses now, Sarah. You have to learn, this is the hardest thing for people to get. Anxiety gives us this broken record mentality and we get stuck on because I did this and that happened to me and I killed. It's okay. It's okay. But what are you going to do with it? How are you going to shift your thoughts? How are you going to be positive now? Amusing ourselves to death. Happiness is the cure, Rebecca, so I bet it's on. Thanks, Kimberly. That might be the first time someone said I was infectious and meant it in a good way. So, hey, guys, 2 hours is pretty good. It's a lot to take in, but you guys have this video now. I love doing this. I'll do more if you want me to. Invite me back in here, whatever. And if you need anything from me, you know where to find me. Click my name. I got my free ebook up in the comments. You're welcome to that, and free YouTube and free videos I post on my Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And I'm here to help. I'm here to help, guys. I love you guys. I love everybody I love everybody, but I have a very, very excited, special place in my heart for people that actually want to move forward. So thank you guys so much for having me. And, be well, my friends. Stay calm, practice, be good to yourselves. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sarah. Be good to yourself, okay? Plant flowers. You're welcome, Tammy. Thank you. Peace, Rebecca. Great meeting you. Goodbye, my friends.